We got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. Okay.
Thank you for watching In Any Arena. If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, let's get into it.
Can't call it, man. Just another day. Ready to get it in. What we got? What we got?
Yo, it's prime time in Boulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
That boy Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is headed to Boulder from Jackson State. There's been a lot of talk on social media from HBCU supporters and pundits alike. A lot of folks have a lot to say about this move coming from Coach Prime. I'm gonna go ahead and give my take on it, and then I want to hear what you got, Dub. So I'm torn on it.
Quick question. Before you dive into it,
Yeah,
audience, we need it. We need it. We need it. Give us that
yeah, man.
CLS treatment. That comment,
Yeah,
like, and subscribe. Again, we see the viewership up, but we don't see those subscribers going up. So if you're rocking with our content, if you enjoy what we're putting out, hey, reward us with that subscribe. All right, let's get into it.
for sure. Thanks for reminding me, Dub.
Not a
But
problem.
yeah, man, I'm torn on it. So on one hand, listen, everyone is doing a job, running a business, has something going on with their profession that they want to go to the next level. Shout out Duke. I see you with the Duke shirt on. Me and
Yes,
Dub are
sir.
both huge Duke fans. But everyone has a job to do. And if I told you that I would promote you for doing the same job you're doing and you would get paid 16 times what you're getting paid today, there's not one person that's going to say no to that. You know, we got to just call a spade, right? Like, I think at some point, because let's just do easy math. If you're making, $100,000, we're talking about you making over $1 million a year. You're not gonna say no to that in any scenario. I think the problem that people have though is that Prime made it about HBCUs, supporting HBCUs, our top recruits going to HBCUs instead of going to these big schools, these Power Five schools, go to the HBCUs. So when you make it about that, and then later you leave because you say a coach either gets elevated or terminated, then it's two different arguments. So, on one hand, you got a bunch of kids to follow you to skip out on their dreams to maybe play at a big school. Maybe I wanted to play at Florida my whole life. You got Travis Hunter who was going to Florida State, and you got him to come to Jackson State. So where does it leave those kids? Yeah, you can take a good number of the kids. I would presume that Travis Hunter, along with the Sanders boys, are going to go to Colorado. But what if they don't want to?
You taking
You know,
10?
I'm here on the spot for any questions. Yep, quarterback is coming. Yep, about 10 more of them coming. And they dogs. And they gonna hunt and they gonna eat.
what was that?
He's taking 10 of his people from Jackson.
He's taking 10. So, again, he had a lot of 4 or 5 star recruits. So there's got to be at least 10 to 15 other guys, because there were a lot of playmakers on that Jackson State football team, 10 or 15 other guys that are left dead in the water to where they could either stay at Jackson State and, maybe they'll be competing. All those teams in the SWAC are going to be looking to take their head off, and they don't got Coach Prime behind them no more asking, give me my theme music. Or they go somewhere
Yeah.
else in the transfer portal where maybe they pissed off a coach because they passed him up after he gave him their last scholarship and he said, nah, I'm gonna go to Jackson State.
But a coach gonna overlook talent. They're gonna overlook that with talent. If you're producing and you're putting good numbers,
They're gonna overlook it, but you still gotta go earn it again. You already
yeah.
came here and earned it. So now you SOL because Prime is on the first bus to Boulder. So
But
I see both sides. I see the money and all that, but the problem is he made it where he said it wasn't about the money. He wasn't doing it for the money. It was about HBCUs, et cetera, et cetera. But now your reasoning is that it's the money, and you either get elevated or terminated.
so he didn't definitively say it's about the money. What
He
we're
did
making
on 60 Minutes. He said
it's plausible. It's plausible.
no. On
It's the
60
bread.
Minutes, he said it. He said they asked him straight up, if you get a job this offering you more money, bigger opportunity, or are you leaving? Without a doubt, was his answer. So it's definitively about the money. But I do see, again,
I
there's
think there's
still
other
this side of it.
variables.
There's still this side of it that there's only 4 African American coaches the uh, at the D1 level. You know, when we talk about
Are we talking about Power Five?
Power Five,
Okay.
right? So there's still that level of it, and and when we're talking FBS, I don't think it's just Power Five. I think it's all of FBS. It
Oh,
might be
really?
Power
Wow.
Five.
Okay.
I gotta fact check that. I think it's FBS though.
Okay.
So I do see his reasoning for doing it. You know, you gotta represent. He's gonna open doors for other folks. But I do see the criticism he's getting as well. It's always 2 sides to any story. So I think it's just a dynamic thing. But I support it 100%.
Absolutely.
Colorado was 1-11. I guarantee you, they won't be 1-11 next year, and I guarantee you that they'll win some tough games over the next 2 to 3 years. Will they win a Pac-12 championship in the next 3 to 5 years? Hell no. But they're there, and I would love to see them prove me wrong.
So one of the things that you mentioned, and I have to disagree with this, is that once the players hit the portal, they're going to have to go somewhere else, and they have to start back from square one and compete, right? Football, week to week, you have to compete. Granted, you have your starters. Don't get me wrong. Your starters are your starters. Those are the guys that are going to represent your team
For
on the
sure.
first unit. However, there's instances where you have players that on second team, third team, that may show you some things and give you different looks during practice that week. They've been getting additional reps in the game on special teams. You may
For
throw them
sure.
in for a couple sets, and they look good, and they just harmonizing with the team. And so, at any given moment, I feel like anyone's role is in jeopardy. So, needless to say,
Depending
I
on
did.
what level you're at, there's some players that are untouchable, and they can have a
Well,
bad game. They can fumble a punt on the 5 yard line, but
mainly quarterbacks, mainly quarterbacks,
I
mainly
would, I would even
quarterbacks.
say you got a guy like Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin can go when Percy Harvin, who's arguably a top 5 college player of all time. We know who number 1 is, Reggie Bush, but you got a guy like that who is your guy. He can go out there, drop 3 passes, fumble a punt return on the 5 yard line and cost you a game. His spot is not in jeopardy next week.
But
But
but but but
if
but
you were
his body of work can substantiate that that was just an anomaly. That's
right,
not going to happen week to week.
but if you're the number 3 receiver, you're coming into a new program. Yeah, they got you starting in the slot. You're the number 3 receiver. You have 2 or 3 bad drops, and you're new to the program.
I see both sides.
You're
I
on
see
the
both
cusp.
sides.
You're on the cusp.
So so okay, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We agree to
All
disagree.
right, all
So,
right.
so here's the thing. When I think about this hiring, and when I think about Coach Prime and where he is right now within his coaching career, right? I think this is a great move. I would have loved to have seen him stay at Jackson State for maybe another year or two, and then possibly have an opening at Florida State or SEC school. But I think him taking that next step and going to a Power Five school, Colorado, where expectations, man, are you really think about it, it can't be no lower than 1-1.
Right.
So when you think about him, there's not this heavy burden on him for instant success. So they're going to allow him to build out his team the way in which he wants to build it out, right?
For sure.
So when you think about his time during Jackson State, he took a pay cut. Like he donated half of his salary for other causes to help support the team. And so
Yeah.
when people talk about money and giving, I'll have to see one of these people that got a comment that have ever given anything to a HBCU. I
Or
get
to,
tired.
or to their alma mater at that.
Better yet, to your local community. Have you
Yeah.
have you done anything for free? Community service.
Any of
Give
your
food to the
time,
food
talent,
bank.
treasures, any of that.
Time, anything.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah, most people, but see, that's the way life is. Most people that have an opinion,
Yeah,
I had a mentor tell me one time, um, opinions are like belly buttons and something else. I'm gonna leave the other part off.
man.
But
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
belly buttons and assholes. Well, what it is one of them is useless, the belly button, and the other one, some just stink. So everybody's gonna have an opinion. Everybody's gonna have a thought process. But I like that he led with God is appointing him to this position.
Yep.
And if you have any type of spiritual connection or any type of you're tied to the source in any sort of way, you can understand that there are going to be things that you're going to do because you've been ordained to do such that other folks ain't going to agree with, and you got to do what the right thing
Absolutely.
is for you at all times.
And your family and people around you. He's
Right.
considered a boss. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So he got people on his coaching staff. Think about it. If Prime's salary, and this is what it is on paper, 300K, imagine how much his subordinates are making. They're probably making 30, 40, maybe
Right.
$50,000.
For sure.
Right?
For
So
sure.
these guys now have an opportunity to elevate themselves, right? And be
Right.
coordinators at a Power 5 school, which subsequently, if they do well, that can lead to them getting a head coaching
For
position.
sure.
So there's
For
a lot
sure.
of variables, a myriad of variables that you have to consider when making those type of decisions. And
And
so
he's
I think
putting one of his guys on, or he's advocating for one of his guys to get the head coaching job at Jackson State.
that's the state.
So
So he's
so
not leaving
again,
them
he's leaving the door open, and
exactly,
he's pulling people up as he climbs, which is what
exactly.
all of this is about.
This is
You
what
know,
it's about,
whether
man.
you're in corporate, whether you're a coach, whether you're a trainer, whatever it is. And too many times in our community, people will see someone else having success at whatever it
Sell out.
is,
They're
and
sell
think
out.
that they're ordained or the calling over their life is, and people will have jealousy or animosity about that
Absolutely,
person being elevated within their purpose. The point of
absolutely.
the point of all of this is he's being elevated within his purpose. This is a Hall of Fame football player who now has a second act. We all have multiple acts within life. Each act doesn't have to be tied, but his happened to be tied where he's a college football coach. He's one of the greatest players of all time, one of my favorite players of all time. And he's being ordained to be, as he said, elevated within this place in his life. So as a community, we just got to support it. Like
Bro,
he's done things for Jackson State that nobody's done for Jackson
bro,
State.
think about the change that he had made on the economy in Jackson, bro. During homecoming, I think he pumped in, I think was it $10 million into the
Did you see
economy?
the sideline seats that he paid for out
Bro,
there? Come on, dude.
bro, it's
You got
crazy.
Rick Ross sitting in a recliner
It's
on the
crazy.
sideline at a Jackson State game. I don't think any and it's very strategic that he was able to do it at Jackson State because I believe Jackson State has the largest stadium out of all HBCUs in the country. I think their stadium hosts 60,
64.
70,000.
67, that's right.
Yeah. So and I said 60, 70. So 67 per we were on the money. But
Right.
but so people gotta back off, man, and people gotta look at this and say, what am I doing today that is keeping me from being elevated in my purpose? And check yourself, get off social media, check yourself, focus on what you got going on, and let's all elevate within our purpose.
Absolutely. That's a perfect note to end off on right there, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yo, I almost forgot at the beginning, but Dub got us right. Listen, give us that Mercedes Benz treatment. I don't want the C class, the B class, the S class, the E class. I want that CLS. Comment, like, subscribe, and give me my theme music.
Mhm. That's hard. That's hard. But
Yes, sir. Yes,
until
sir.
next time, people.
Until next time, we out.